Hey guys, welcome back. I am back with Tej Singh. Today we're going to discuss raising finance. It's a big topic that everybody wants to know about because obviously if you can leverage money, you can make more money as well. So we'll talk a bit about what we've done in that space and then kind of give some learnings from that as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this. So without further ado, Tej, obviously just in case nobody knows, I'm sure everybody knows who he is. He's on my Instagram, he's everywhere. Quick.
Well, I'm Tej of Tej Talks, podcaster, property investor, author, 2 times author and public speaker. And, you know, I've raised, I think, something like £800,000 now. I know you've raised quite a bit as well. So we have a similar way of doing it, but we have our own sort of characteristics in how we do it. So this will be a really interesting chat with our styles, I think.
Yeah. So kind of for you, when was your starting point in terms of when you felt like comfortable to kind of start raising finance?
My first ever deal was using an investor, but it was a family member. So technically an investor, but at the same time, there was none of the sort of process or, you know, it was very like, hey, can you give me 30 grand? Yeah, cool, no worries, here we go. So it was very straightforward. It was not meant to be, actually. I was meant to bridge it, broker messed it up, and, you know, I basically was like, well, I need to complete soon. It wasn't an auction, but I need to complete soon. Let's just do this, right? And funnily enough, when I asked this family member, they were literally at their computer about to put it into an ISA. So literally, I caught them saved by the bell just before they put it in. I was like, what?
People love an ISA, you know?
People love an ISA. Minus percent. So I basically saved them and, you know, paid them interest. So that was my first sort of investor, but my first real investor would be my third deal. So my second deal was funded with my first deal using cross-bridging, which is a whole other topic, which Shaz, you know, who's been on the videos, you can speak to. This is crazy. So I did the podcast a little bit, you know, I had 2 houses. I was new, right? I was still fresh.
Yeah.
Everything was fresh. I put an Instagram story out looking for £57,000, you know, to cover purchase, stamp duty fees, everything. And the refurb as well, I think it was a tiny refurb, I think. And these 2 guys, or one guy on behalf of them, messaged me. Hey, we're interested, but I want to learn property, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they came on my earn and learn scheme, which I still do sometimes with people. And basically an 8-minute phone call, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, £57,000 was in my bank account when we completed, I don't know, a week or 2 later. And that deal, once we refinanced it for BRR, so, you know, people who are familiar with that, it then left in £332 and it cash flows £340 a month.
Not bad.
So yeah, if you do the percentage,
people would love that deal. All day long.
You do the percentages on that, everyone's getting paid back as soon as and you know, that was one of my best deals. But I put no money into that. I got the money from one Instagram story, and stories disappear. So it wasn't even like they just happened to see it. 8-minute phone call, and I met them 6 months later, like at the property or something like that.
Yeah. And
then I've sort of never met them since, and never. So it was, you know, I mean, it kind of blows your mind, right? You don't meet them, you speak for like 8 minutes, and then there's
money in your account, you're good to go.
And that's amazing. I don't think it stops. Every time I get investor finance, I'm like, okay, I put in nothing, and I'm getting it is crazy. It is really crazy.
Obviously, just to kind of put into context, like, I think, obviously you started with your immediate circle. So I think everybody kind of looking to raise finance seem to think or hear the word, oh, we can raise finance from an investor and assume it's some like, the normally question is, oh, where can you find investors?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question is your network, your people that have known you, literally, they know, like, and trust you in essence. And this can be a family member, you're someone you work with. People forget how many hours you spend with your work colleagues. Yeah. I know COVID, but principle still stands. If you're working 9 to 5, you probably spend a lot more time than any other family member potentially as well. So they're going to get to know you very quickly. But starting with your immediate circle is the easiest form of getting finance raised because they already know you. They probably just know what you're capable of doing. And it's just an easier conversation. You haven't got to try and sell yourself and kind of get to know, the person has to kind of get to know who you are as an individual. That bit's already done. So all you're coming to present is an opportunity for them to earn higher return on their money than they're currently getting. And as long as you're hoping they like you and they trust you with their money, that money will be loaned to you, and then you can go away and do that deal that you want to do. So for me, that's how I kind of started. I leveraged my work colleagues because, again, I was in a fortunate place where I was working at Jaguar Land Rover, people had money around them. So I approached people that I consider as friends at work colleagues, say, look, I'm looking at doing this. It actually wasn't property to start with, it was events. My first ever formal raise of finance was events. Started off quite small, 10 grand, grew it, 20, 30. But the principle here was literally I just spoke to my colleagues, say, look, I'm looking at doing this event. looking to raise as much money. Have you got some money sat around which could earn you better return if you lend it to me for a period of time? I said, you know what, I've got some money there, I'm not getting anything on it. Like, it just sat there, I just keep topping up every month, so why not? And that's how I kind of built it up. And over time, obviously, started to kind of open it up to other people, and that grew. And then we got to a point where we were making 50 grand in terms of getting investment from people. And then now it's like, okay, great making lump sums of money, but let's now acquire some assets, which is property, and gain some cash flow long period of time, as opposed to getting some lump sums of money, paying investors back. That's all good. So that kind of helped me build some sort of credibility as well, and being able to principally borrow money from someone, take away, go and invest in something, and return it back to them safely with their return. So even when I went back and said, look, because in events I was offering a higher rate, I was offering some good rates. When I came back and said, you know what, now I want to focus on buying property, when I dropped the rates, they weren't even like fast. They're like, well, okay, great, yeah. Even if you return back money back to me, all I want to do is put it back in the account, which is earning nothing. So I think it's still better than me leaving it in my account. So I'm happy for you to kind of go on. I know, again, I think what sold it is the fact that I was very vocal at work about being in property. They saw me how I was kind of putting in the work, going to networking events, leaving work, going to London like till late in the evening, your PPN Lightbridge events. I would get back at 12, up early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning gym. So they saw all of that. And they're like, you know, this guy's serious, he really wants to make this happen. I've got some money, I can help him out. And that's how it kind of kicked off, and that's literally...
You told everyone what you did,
Yeah,
right? That's the kind of key principle that everyone says. It's like you literally, you didn't even say to them like, I need money necessarily. Like you said, I'm doing this. You painted a whole picture of your reality. It wasn't made up.
Exactly.
You weren't saying, oh, I bought 100 properties a month. It was just like, I'm doing what I can to learn and to get there. And they saw that growth in you. Even going to the gym at 4 a.m, people who go to the gym at 4 a.m, not a majority, yeah?
Exactly.
So they'd hear that as well and say, wow, he's doing property and he's going, all I'm hearing is commitment and the fact that you're determined. So that's really important. And you know, before you said like, oh, they don't need to get to know you because they already know us.
Yes.
That's from social media, right? That's the 7 touch points before a sale, that classic kind of thing people say. People have done 5 or 6 before they speak to us. And more it's just like security rates, blah, blah, blah. Here's the money. What's the next sort of paper process?
Paper process, yeah, to make it legally binding, yeah.
I think for people watching this, really, the key thing is to tell everyone what you're doing. Even if you're literally on Rightmove every night, you can worm that into a conversation. Like, because even that is showing, what's she doing that for? What's she doing that for? And, you know what I mean? It builds up to... Because then in a month when you're like, hey, I've got a deal, I need some money, they're going to say, oh, that's where it gets you. So I think telling everyone what you do, considering these touch points, also heavily considering social media. Yeah. But for everyone watching, just think about this. We're active on social media, but people they come to us and are ready to invest. That's what happens. There's no, oh, what are you working on? Tell me about this. Tell me about your history. It's like, listen, we know you, we're cool. They feel like they're cool with us. How incredible is that? Someone will give you 100 grand like that because you've posted for X many months. Like, it blows my mind still.
Yeah, no, it's a long-term investment thing. I mean, you have to just trust the process. I think people are like, oh, how is this going to happen? How is it going to... You just never know who's watching. Like, I have people approach me, I'm like, I would not even have put 10 grand against your name. No offense, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you just never know who's going to approach you. So you just don't be judgmental of who you think has money, who doesn't. More time, people you actually think have money don't have money, and people that you don't think have money have a lot of money. Funny enough, actually, we did a course on this.
And we spoke about this quite heavily. Yeah.
We went into a lot of detail. People actually loved it. It was really good. What do you think? We can bring it back for one more time? Because a lot of people DM'd Alfred, is a recording, sorry I couldn't make it. I'm like, look guys, it was a one-off, we didn't think to record it, we just... It
has to be enough people to make it worth it, I think. Like, because we don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours going through the depth that we went through for like 4 people. We needed some serious numbers.
If you guys are interested, drop a comment. I think, what were you saying? What number would you put?
20, give me 20 and
20
and we'll
20
do it again.
Serious people, not just like, oh yeah, I'm interested. So what was the price? I think 97 before?
Yeah.
So same exact price, we're not going to do anything.
Oh, why inflation though? Should be like 100.
Whatever, but thereabouts, whatever, nice, call it £97.
Basically, it's nothing given how much we've raised.
True, and what you can learn and potentially go and implement to be able to do the same as us. So get 20 comments in that says, I am committed to paying and want to have this course. Just drop a comment below. Interested, not even interested, committed. I think I like the word.
Committed, yeah.
Committed. Yeah. Just drop the word committed in the comments and we'll make it happen some way, somehow. We don't know what date. That's the next thing. Date, timing, all that.
We'll work it out.
If we
get 20 people, we'll make it work. Because, you know, what we touched on last time was what you said about the judgment thing. Like naturally, a lot of people when they're starting out think, well, people are judging me. I'm new. I'm not going to get investor finance.
Yes.
People they judge other people like, nah, you haven't got. And then it's just this whole judgmental circle where you get no money and nothing happens and you're stuck there. And look, if you got $4,000, listen, you're not buying anything. That's a fact. Like no matter go to bloody like you're not go to Durham. You're not even the cheapest house. You can't buy it with $4,000.
Yes.
You need 12.5, 15 minimum. So you can do rent to rent other stuff. But if you want to buy, you need investors. So it's either you don't buy, you wait 4 years for your salary to match it, or you get out of the judgmental circle, upgrade your network, join our masterminds, and you raise money.
Yeah,
That's how I see it, right? There's a big mindset piece to this. Like money mindset is huge.
Money mindset is a big thing. I think if you're someone that believes nobody can borrow you money, then you're already failing. Because
Nobody's going to borrow you money.
Nobody's going to borrow you money. You have to believe you are investable. And we'll touch on this quickly. Investable, people think, oh, I have to have done this one thing before. People forget that being a driven person is investable quality. Being someone that does whatever it takes to make something happen is investable quality. So this is why at the beginning it's very important to start with your closest circle because they understand it's the easiest. Whereas a stranger is not going to understand and might not be as convinced because they don't know you that well. So starting your immediate circle is, for me, is where you start. And then from there, you've got the track record now. People start seeing you because you're posting and being social about it. And therefore, random strangers. People, literally, I've lent money from people. During COVID, couldn't meet people, done Zoom calls through Instagram. They've lent money to me. I paid them back their return as well. We still haven't met to this day. Not to say we don't want to meet each other, but we just didn't get a chance to. And it's worked really well. So and that's only happened because I've built that traceability, that track record now. I got exposure, and therefore people are now seeing what they're doing. They can make their own judgment before even approaching me. So literally, when they approach me, it's literally how much you need, how long for, what's my return, and that's how we're making deals happen. So it is possible. It's a long game. You've got to play the game. It is what it is. But yeah, man.
Well, to summarize, if we talk about the last part there, you know, the kind of the negotiation. Obviously, negotiation is always a discussion. It's just, what do you want? What do I want? How do we make it work? But obviously, there's techniques.
Yes.
We have different styles of doing. I know we did a role play on the masterclass last time, which was pretty fun. And you did one on Clubhouse, and everyone listens to you. I do a role play. They're just like they're on you straight away.
Yeah.
So that's really important. Obviously, the contracts can cost hundreds of pounds, but we obviously have our own ways and tips that we can show you. And I think that paper element does scare people because, I want it to be secure, I want it to be this. And I can think of 4 or 5 levels of security you can have, right? So it can be complex.
Yeah.
But, it needs to be broken down. You need to understand it. Because if an investor comes to you and says, oh, what about this? I heard this, this, and this. And you're like, I don't know. You're done.
As well, never try and blag your way. I think that's the worst thing. You just lose credit. If someone came to me and in my opinion, the principals just lied to me. So what was you lying about?
Yeah.
I'd rather you say, I do not know this answer, but I can go away and find out and come back to you. It might not look as credible, but it's better. For me, that weighs more than someone trying to blag their way through and doesn't know what they're talking about and trying to just get an answer out.
If you lie once, you've lied 10 times.
So
all the time.
Don't do that, guys. That's a big tip.
But to summarize, we've raised money, which has allowed us to build our portfolios, to be financially free, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And, there's times where, the flip I'm doing right now, I've literally put in no money and it's going to make 40, 50, whatever it is. That doesn't make any sense. Mathematically it doesn't make sense either. What is the ROI? But then you just think, this is crazy because the investors are happy. They're benefiting. They're getting exactly what they want.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. And if you can create that and create a portfolio for yourself whilst giving others money, there's a point where you and me are going to lend our money out. It's going to happen.
Mate, there's no.
I'm ready now. I'm done. Let me just do it now.
Mate, I want to be able to be on the other side. I know some guys have got £500,000, £1 million sat there looking for opportunities to put the money into. I would love to be the person lending money out because I think there's no more passive. Some of my investors they make some deep. That's income.
Yeah.
That's income. They can just
100%.
blow every month on whatever they want to. They can book holidays with that money. They can treat their family with a good dinner. Whatever. So there's benefits. I think it's a win-win, and I'd love to be an investor myself and do the same to others. But yeah, I think that's probably a good point to kind of cut this off. Guys, it's been amazing. Like we said, if you guys are serious and interested, chuck the word in the comments, committed. We'll reach out to you or arrange something. We can do it for one if we get the demand one more time. And again, it's been a pleasure, Tej, to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, See you on the next video. Take care.